Hong Kong is on edge. Hundreds of protesters on Monday still camped out around government buildings, a day after nearly 2 million people hit the streets, according to organizers. They're demanding a controversial extradition bill be thrown out and leader Carrie Lam step down. The movement may have got a boost Monday morning when democracy activist Joshua Wong walked free from prison, pledging to join the protests. Talking to media outside the jail, he took aim at Lam and Chinese leader Xi Jinping.
And what we try to do is just through civil disobedience and direct action and let the whole world, let the international communities to realize that how Hong Kong people will not keep silence under the suppression of President Xi and the Chief Executive Carrie Lam.
Wong's just finished 5 weeks of a 2-month sentence for contempt of court. The veteran activist was only 17 years old when he emerged as the face of the massive umbrella protests in 2014. But he warned that this time around, the political crisis sweeping the city would only grow unless Lam steps down. And then there's the bill protesters are up in arms over. It would allow both locals and foreigners in Hong Kong, even those just passing through, to stand trial on charges in China.
I feel deep sorrow.
Earlier, Lam had agreed to suspend the bill and apologize for the way the government handled things. But some protesters want it gone altogether.
Well, I'm stick with the other people who are asking for the withdrawal. If it's only a subtle play of word, why don't you change the word into withdrawal and make the people a bit happier?
The protests mark the biggest challenge from Hong Kong to Beijing since the territory was handed back by Britain 22 years ago. China's state media on Monday lashed out at, quote, foreign meddling in the crisis, saying Beijing would continue to back up Lam. But according to some observers, that's not exactly true. Reuters' James Pomfret has been covering the protests.
I think one key point, one key observation is that they seemingly distance themselves from this controversy. They've said repeatedly that this is Carrie Lam's initiative. Her decisions in many ways led to the protests that we're seeing now.
Hong Kong's government says its headquarters will stay closed on Monday. Police are out to keep an eye on things, but this time they're not wearing riot gear.